What's up, everybody? This is your boy Ken, aka MrGentleman, your host of MrGentleman Like That podcast, and this week's sponsorship is from Newsly. Newsly is a all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android. It picks up web articles about the most trending topics on the web at any given moment and read them to you in a natural human voice. For the first time in ever of the internet, the entire web becomes listenable, all in one place. Browse articles from topic choose, start playing, start scrolling, and start listening. You can follow any topics as you specifically as you like, from sports, science, to Bitcoin, even for the Kardashians. It will find you on the latest article and you read them to you out loud. And they have podcasts as well. Explore trending podcasts from over 50 countries. Our podcast, MrGentleman Like That podcast, is on there as well. Yes, it is. Shout out to Newsly for that. I started using it as my default podcast app. Download and use Newsly for free from www.newsly.me or from the link in the description. Use the promo code MrGentleman that I will also put in the description and receive 1 month free premium subscription. So you already know, y'all, download Newsly now. Check it out. Support them, y'all. This is your boy Ken, aka MrGentleman, your host of MrGentleman Like That podcast, and enjoy the show. You are now listening to MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast Season 7. Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka MrGentleman, 1/4 of the Premier Boys Podcast, and your host of MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Welcome to another new episode of MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Hope all is well. And on this episode, we have a special guest. She is a writer. She is a podcast host. She has a podcast show called UnXpected Podcast. And we're going to talk to her about her writing journey, a podcast show, and many more. And this was a really dope conversation. I can't wait for y'all to check this episode out. Y'all already know what to do. Sit back, relax, and I'll be right back.
My name is Jonathan, and you are now listening to MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. And at this time, it's time for MrGentleman Facts Quote of the Day. And today's quote of the day is, no matter what, always be you, even to those who do not appreciate you. And I say this because do not change to please other people. If they don't want to see you at your worst, they don't deserve you at your best. So make sure, no matter what, always be you, even to those who don't appreciate you at all. And that is today with the Gentleman Facts Quote of the Day. Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka MrGentleman, and I am the host of MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast. And this commercial break is brought to you by MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast. On MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast, we interview many guests about their life journey, pretty much where they come from and where they're at now. Also promoting their brands or whatever they're doing at the time they come on the show. We also have the host talk about personal stories about himself and everything that he's been through. And also we have fun conversation about anything music, anything old school, relationships, wrestling, and many more. And y'all can tune in to MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast every Sundays at 12 a.m. We are also on every Thursdays at 12 a.m. for Spin-Off Series Thursdays, where we have all of MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast spin-off series all in one day, where we have a conversation about music podcast every first Thursday at 12 a.m. The Old School Show with myself and the Star Riding Rod every fourth Thursday at 12 a.m. And we have Date Night Talk Podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B every second and third Thursday at 12 a.m. And y'all can tune in to MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, The Pods, and many more. Or y'all can check it out on the official website of MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast, www.realmrgentlemanlifestylepodcast.com, www.realmrgentlemanlifestylepodcast.com, and tune in every Sundays and Thursdays at 12 a.m. for MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in to this commercial break of MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Back to your regularly scheduled program. Cheer!
This is Princella from the UnXpected podcast, and you're listening to the MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast.
Yes, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. And at this time, I got my special guest. She is a writer. She is also a podcast host. She got a podcast show called UnXpected Podcast. We got Miss Princella Talley in the building. How are you doing?
I am doing good. I'm so happy to be here with you. How are you doing?
Yes, I am doing good. And thank you for coming on the show. You are definitely one person that I wanted on the show for a very long time. So I'm happy that I finally got you on the show.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, so we're going to start with, where are you from?
So I am from a small city in Louisiana called Pineville, but I've also lived in California, Las Vegas, and in Virginia, which is where I currently am now.
Okay, that is really dope. That is really dope. You know, New York is over here, so yeah.
New York state of mind.
Yes. You already know, yes. So how would you describe yourself with 3 words?
I would say that I am pretty silly, creative, and thoughtful.
Those are really good choices. So what is one thing that you like to do for fun?
Play with my dogs. I mean, my dogs are big and wild and crazy and so much fun.
That is really dope. And what is in your headphones right now? It could be an album, a podcast, or a song.
Can I do more than one?
Yeah, you can do more than one. Yes.
Okay, cool. School of Greatness by Lewis Howes is the podcast that is always in my headphones. And I've been listening to K-Camp music. K-Camp is like new to me, old to others, but I love K-Camp. And his songs, Rare Film and Spin the Block, have been on repeat in my headphones.
That's really dope. I know right now, the Usher new album was in my headphones. And yeah, it's pretty cool album. So now let's talk about your beginning of life. So how were you growing up?
So I grew up in a rural area. There wasn't too much to do. There wasn't too much money. We didn't have very much of that, but I had a really good family, and most of those family members, they were older and passed away now, but I can't complain. You know, we didn't have it all, but we had enough.
And that's all that matters. Honestly, that really all that matters. and I'm happy that you got that. And how all that you've been through made you the person that you are today.
I think adding on to what I just mentioned, a lot of how I became who I am was through a lot of loss and a lot of moving around and relocating and just experiencing different parts of the country. Also, just a lot of failing and trying over and over again. I think that just changes your perspective on life in a really good way.
Yeah, I definitely understand the failing parts. So, but even when you fail, you just can't give up and just keep going.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah. So one thing that you are a writer. So what inspired you to become a writer? What age did you start? And what type of writer are you?
Okay, I love this question. So I have been a writer since I was 6 years old. Let me tell you what I used to do. I used to create my own magazines in the living room. And they were not very good. But in my mind, I was writing masterpieces. And I started that at 6 years old, had my little publication together, and I was faithful to it too. And so as time went on, I just kept doing it, and it became a real thing. And creative writing was where I started doing. I was writing poetry and writing film reviews. And that led to more writing in Las Vegas and the internet at that time. I mean, you know how it was when the internet, like, it was here for us, but it wasn't just popping for everything like it is now. So it was at that sweet spot of where if you were kind of early doing certain things on the internet and writing about certain things, then you would get noticed and it would kind of kick off a career for you, sort of like early YouTubers. And that was what happened. So I've also done a lot of ghostwriting, and I still do that mostly for entertainers and influencers and people like that. But it's really across the board because I work with companies and businesses too, writing a lot of their ads and different things.
No, that's really dope. And the fact that you started from young and you do it now is really amazing. And I read a lot of your posts on your IG, so you are really dope. So keep going. You are really dope.
Thank you. That's my favorite. I call it a hobby, but it's a little more than that to me personally. But where I'm at on IG, that's kind of where I can feel like I'm just being me. I'm not just this professional person or whatever. So it feels good on there. I'm really glad to hear that from you. Thank you.
Yes. And fun fact also, I also do write too. I used to write songs. I used to write poems as well. And of course, I do my quotes, which I do on my IG page a lot. So yeah, I do some creative writing myself. So yeah.
Do you have to be like inspired before you do it, or do you just kind of do something every day?
I think it usually depends. I think more I have to be inspired. Something pop up that I usually write it or create something.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Yeah. But you say you've done a lot of stuff in the writing, but what was one of your major accomplishments as a writer?
My favorite one was and I know people get tired of me talking about it, but it was a Grammys campaign that I worked on. And this was way back in like 2013. I might be a year or two off, but it was called The World is Listening campaign. And it's like a short script, and you have like Taylor Swift, Rihanna, and different celebrities talking about how the world is listening to you. And I love that experience. And it's not just because it was celebrities involved. It was also because it was the first time I was in that process to see that even to write a few lines, there's a whole lot of work behind it, a whole lot of thought, bureaucracies, all types of things just to get to this point. The things we see on TV or read, we think, oh, hey, it's just here. Somebody wrote this real quick. That's not the case a lot of the times. A lot of the times it has to go through a very heavy process. And I have a new appreciation for all the things that I see and read just based off that experience alone.
Man, that's amazing, man. That's really. Is there any way that we can read that? If people want to read like your stuff, where can they find your stuff to read?
They could, if they wanted to see that campaign, they could go on my website at Princella-Talley.com. I actually have it in my portfolio, and they could watch the video, and they could find general things I've written as well, like opinion editorials, a lot of things. I have so much stuff. I don't have enough of it like listed up there, but I do have the titles of a lot of things and some context as to what it was at that time. So basically, that was a long freaking answer. Okay, basically, go to my website and you'll find some stuff.
Okay, there you go. But also, you have a podcast show. But before we get to the podcast show, what inspired you to start a podcast?
I got tired of writing everything was one. If I'm just keeping it real, I got tired of like writing everything all the time. And I have a blog on Medium, and I'm not very consistent on there. Really, just when I feel like it, I post. And the feedback I got on Medium when I created my own like audio narration of the post for auditory learners, it was really positive, and people were letting me know, hey, I appreciated listening to this because that's more of my style to process information. And I was like, you know what? Why not start a podcast? And I'm glad I did. It's been fun. It's a constant learning experience.
Okay, nice. So your podcast show is called UnXpected. So how you came up with the idea, and when did you start it?
I came up with the idea when I was thinking about just all the unexpected twists and turns in life. And I felt like it was also unexpected that a lot of the content that will come from it is coming from me. I feel like, we are so underrepresented as writers that, I'm the unexpected storyteller telling you stories you don't expect to hear. So come on, let's chill, let's hang out. And it was an idea as vague as that. And I've been letting it come together in real time. I've been figuring things out in real time, because if I don't do it that way, I'll hesitate trying to be a perfectionist. But I realize I don't have to do that and just let it happen. And it's been fun. I've started it in September of last year.
Nice. And I definitely did listen to your podcast, and I really like your podcast. I like the writer's tip that you give. I like the storytelling. You are a great storyteller.
Thank you.
And your story definitely keep me wanting to come back for more. So continue to do your thing, and I really enjoy your podcast so far.
Thank you. I love your podcast too. So we are on the same track with that.
Thank you. And let my audience know, where can they listen to your podcast show?
On Spotify. So that is where I am right now. I might expand soon to Apple and other platforms, but you can find it on Spotify, and it is spelled UnXpected. So a unique spelling. It should be easy to find.
Yeah, it really is unique. So that is really dope. So as a podcaster so far, what has been your biggest challenge so far?
Oh man. The editing and the editing and the sound and all the things that can happen around you when you're trying to record a podcast. I wasn't prepared for it. And also just how I want my content to feel. That's been a challenge, because it's like I'm very opposed to being in a box. But at the same time, I don't want to be too out of the box to where no one even knows what I'm talking about anymore. So I have to find that balance. But I would say the editing is really the biggest challenge for me, just because I didn't realize it took so long. Not only did I not, it takes a long time. And not only did I not realize that, I didn't think about like leveling out the sound, all the things you do so well. I didn't think about how hard that could be.
Trust me, it's not an easy job. Even now, even though I guess I got it down packed out, it's still not so easy. It's difficult still, but you sometimes just gotta, once you start getting used to it, once you start doing it more than once, you start to get used to it. So yeah, it don't get harder after a while.
That's good news, Ken.
So what's the goal for your podcast, and what do you want to give your audience free for your show?
So my goal is to give It's more than one. It's to give valuable writing tips, but also to encourage people to be okay in the middle of just being a person working on a career, learning new things, making mistakes. Keep on going. Like, just come vibe with a fellow writer about life and the ups and downs and the crafts, especially from a Black writer. Because like I said earlier, we're so underrepresented. I think it's important that we show up and just be ourselves. So the goal, give the tips, show up as we are, and just keep trucking. We could do it together.
Yeah, that's really dope. That's really dope. But as you know, we are in a pandemic. I guess we're still in a pandemic. I guess. I feel like we might be knowing enough, but I still want to ask. But how did the pandemic affect you, and what did you learn from it?
I love this question. So I ended up, because of what happened with I got the pandemic very early, like right before it was even announced as a big thing. Oh, wow. And so I ended up with long COVID. And that's really, I've learned so much. I'd never been a person with an actual continual or chronic illness. So it really humbled me and it really taught me a lot. The main thing was that, resilience is key, and you have to care about you before you can care about all these other things in the world, because if your health ain't it, then nothing is it. So that's one thing. It also taught me, though, something I kind of knew, but I know even more now. I love being alone. I love being in the house by myself. And I'm hella resilient. Like, I appreciate that. But the time to just be by myself was something I really, really finally leaned into. I am more of a loner. I also kind of realized, and this might sound kind of strange, but the pandemic showed me you just really never know people. Like, people were actually arguing about, whether washing your hands is effective or not. I'm like, y'all out here not washing your hands? Like, why is this even an argument?
Yeah, pandemic was a weird time. But just like you, I did that with COVID for a very long time as well. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was a crazy time. Also, I do like it made me also want to be alone as well. So I kind of could relate to that as well. But yeah, I'm just happy those times. I guess it's over. But yeah, let's carry on. Let's carry on. More positive note though. More positive note. But what is your dream venture? Something that you always want to do?
That was a hard question for me, because I'm actually doing it now. I've always just wanted to be a writer, and I guess it's like a dream come true. But the interesting thing about a dream coming true is that it's not as perfect as it is in your mind, especially once the thing you dream about becomes something you make money doing. It hits different, and it doesn't always feel good, but I'm still happy to say that my dream venture is actually my work.
There you go. And it's always good to follow your dreams. I'm happy that you really done that. I'm really happy you done that.
Thank you.
So what other project that you got going on that you had not mentioned yet?
Oh, I'm telling my business. House flipping. It would be house flipping. Oh gosh, like just that whole chaotic process. I love it. And it's something I'm getting more deeply invested into, is what I'll say for now.
Yeah, that's dope. Hopefully we got more stuff coming real soon. So what they have to say for anybody that will say about you, as a writer, as a podcast, something inspirational.
Keep going and stop looking at that other person, whoever that other person is, because their story is not yours, and your story is just as valuable as theirs. So show up as you are, keep going, and it will work out. Don't worry about it. Trust the process. It's easier said than done, but you can do it, and you got this.
I did. That's really good advice. So before you go, we're going to play a segment game called 5 Random Topics. Where I ask you 5 random topics, and you give me a short or long response. And I will join in on this as well. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So, what is your favorite type of music?
So I like all music, but since I have to answer the question, ratchet rap. Like ratchet rap music from female rappers. There you go.
There you go. Well, I also like all types of music as well, but my favorite has always been old school R&B. Always been my favorite from 2000s, 90s, 80s, 70s, Motown days. Yeah, it's pretty much R&B music, pretty much.
Yes, that hits too. I love it.
Yeah, definitely. Name something that you like that people will be shocked about.
I like to eat lemons, like lemon slices straight with salt on top of them.
Nice. What about me? That's kind of hard. I like putting hot sauce on a lot of my stuff.
Oh, Mom, you're like my mom. She does too.
Yeah, I love spicy stuff. Like, I love spicy stuff. That's always been me. But speaking of food, what is your favorite type of food?
Oh, I love food from back home in Louisiana. I'm a big seafood person though. Crawfish is my number one all-time favorite. Give me my mud bugs and let me dip them in some sauce and have a potato on the side and go take a nap. That's all I need.
That is dope. I know for me, I love all types of food as well, but I have to say my favorite, Thai food is one, soul food, and Caribbean food.
Oh, I love it. I had oxtails for the first time recently. I was here for it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm like, I loved it.
Oh, that's really good. What is your favorite holiday?
Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween though.
I love the costumes.
Yeah, I mean Halloween fun. I do like Halloween as well, but my favorite, I have to say Christmas. Some reason Christmas always been my favorite.
Why is that? Oh, well, you're asking the questions. I'm sorry.
Well, I can answer that. So, I mean, the family, giving, the Christmas activity, pretty much like the winter activity, I should say, like ice skating, seeing a tree and stuff like that. Christmas movies, I like always enjoy all that stuff.
That's awesome.
Music too, but some of it questionable. But yeah, but we had to go there. And the last one is, name a movie that made you cry.
Oh man, All Dogs Go to Heaven, the animated version from the 90s. Like, if you want to see me like cry, tissues, like boo-hooing, passed out, that's the movie. All Dogs Go to Heaven is deep. Have you seen that?
Of course, yeah. I watched that since I was a kid. So I had the tape, I had the VHS. So I definitely been watching that since I was a kid. But yeah. But if I had to say something, I would say Lion King again. But then every time I ask the question, I always use that answer. But I'm gonna use a different answer. I'm gonna use another cartoon. I'm gonna use the Pokemon first movie.
Really?
That made me cry because it was a scene where Ash almost died, and then everybody was crying. Yeah, as a kid, it hit different as a kid. So I've seen that as a kid. So yeah, I was very emotional as a kid when I seen that movie.
Well, now I feel some sort of way about my answer because I still cry on All Dogs Go to Heaven like that. Should I change my answer? Did you mean from when I was a kid? Because I've given myself away.
No, that's a good answer. That's a good answer, though. That's a good answer,
okay,
though.
Cool.
All right. But Princella, thank you for coming to the show. It was really a good conversation, and continue to do everything that you're doing. Your writing, the podcast show, and I'm really enjoying it. Thank you for coming to the show, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Keep doing big and amazing things, my friend.
Thank you. And before you go, drop your social media where everybody can reach you, and drop where everybody can reach your stuff and listen to the podcast. This is your time now.
All right, so you can follow me on Instagram at Princella.Talley, and you can find everything else, links to socials and all that stuff. It's on my website, which is Princella-Talley.com.
All right, there you go. Thank you, and we'll be right back. Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka MrGentleman. Now, I am the host of MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast, and this commercial break is brought to you by MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast presents Spinoff Series Thursdays. And Spinoff Series Thursday is the new home for MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast Spinoff Series. That brought to you shows like A Conversation About Music Podcast, The Old School Show, and Date Night Talk Podcast. And A Conversation About Music Podcast is a music spin-off series where we talk about anything music, from the current music scene and the old school music scene, where we interview many guests that's in the music industry and artists about their music journey. We have a segment game called The Face Off, which is a versus inspired game. And we have roundtable discussion about variety of music topics. And y'all can check out A Conversation About Music Podcast every first Thursday at 12 a.m. Every first Thursday at 12 a.m. Now, the Old School Show that featured myself and the star Roddy Rod is a show where we discuss anything old school, from music, TV shows, movies, and many more. We also bring in guests to join in on the old school conversation. Y'all can check out the Old School Show with myself and the star Roddy Rod every fourth Thursday at 12 a.m. Every fourth Thursday at 12 a.m. And last but not least, we have Date Night Talk Podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B, where we talk about anything relationship related topics like love, dating, relationships, cheating, the good and the bad, and many more. And y'all can check out this spin-off series, Date Night Talk Podcast, every second and third Thursday at 12 p.m. So look out for MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast presents Spin-off Series Thursday, A Conversation About Music Podcast, every first Thursday. The Old School Show with myself and the star Roddy Rod every fourth Thursdays, and Date Night Talk Podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B every second and third Thursdays. And y'all can check out MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast every Sundays for the main series and every Thursday for spin-off series Thursdays. And thank y'all for checking out this commercial break. And now back to your regularly scheduled program. True! I just want to take the time to thank everybody for tuning in to the latest episode of MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Thanks to my special guest, Miss Princella Talley, for coming on the show. Continue to do big things. I look forward to everything you're about to do. Keep killing it. And everybody, check out her podcast show, UnXpected Podcast, on Spotify right now. Y'all already know where I'm at every Sundays for the main series, every Thursdays for spin-off series Thursdays, where we have shows like A Conversation About Music Podcast, every first Thursday at 12 p.m. Date Night Talk Podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B every second and third Thursday at 12 p.m. And the Old School Show with myself and the Star Rider Ride every fourth Thursday. You can check me out on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Pods, and many more. Y'all can rate the show 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, Podchasers. The more y'all rate the show, the more people know about Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast. If you want me to get on Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast, send me a bio about yourself and everything that you do to my email, YPGENT@gmail.com, or hit me up on social media, Ken_Mr. Gentleman. I repeat, Ken, Ken_Mr. Gentleman, GENTLEMAN, and we can set something up. I need 2 more guests for this season. I'm looking for 2 women for this season, so we can have all women for Women History Month, and a whole lot of guests for season 8 of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. You can also check me out on the Premier Boys Podcast with myself, Aaron Keto Sands, Star Rider Rod, and Long Live the Chief Mighty Mal. New episodes every Wednesday at 12 p.m. New episodes every Wednesday at 12 p.m. You can also check out other shows from the Premier Powerverse. King Talk with Aaron Sands, hosted by Aaron. King Talk Sands every Fridays. Star Time Podcast, hosted by the Star Rider Ride every Mondays. And Welcome to the Trilogy, hosted by Long Live the Chief Mighty Mal, every Tuesdays. Check out and support every show in the Premier Powerverse. And at this time, it's time for everybody's favorite segment. Time for Mr. Gentleman Like That Shoutouts, where we give everybody their flowers. And I don't have no specific podcast to shout out. I just want to shout out all the black podcasters, because y'all already know last month was Black History Month. I didn't fully acknowledge it, so this is my shout out to y'all, every black podcasters. Just keep killing it, keep doing amazing things. Also, shout out to all the women for this month, for Women History Month. Keep killing it, all women out there, keep doing amazing things. And that is this week, Mr. Gentleman Like That Shoutouts. And y'all already know I'm on Good Pods, Ken, Mr. Gentleman. Y'all already know Good Podcasts, the many independent podcasters. We can rate each other's shows, we see what everybody listens to, and we have the charts. And at this time, the time for Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Achievements, where we spotlight everything Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast is doing. And at the time, the time for the Pod Charts on top 100 shows. We're number 7 on the number charts, number 5 on the indie charts. Let's try to get to that number 1 spot. Once again, there's a lot of amazing podcasts on this list, but I get to that number 1 spot for top 100 shows. We haven't been number 1 on that chart for almost 2 years. So let's get back to number 1 on that chart. That would be really amazing to get back on that chart. To get back to number 1 on that chart. For society and culture, we are still number 1. We've been number 1 for 17 days now. And thank you once again for continuing to keep us number 1 for society and culture. And then top 100 episodes, both episodes of the Old School Show is on the top 100 episode list. Episode 22, Reboot Shows, number 38 on the normal charts and number 37 on the indie charts. And episode 23, the one episode part 1, number 11 on the normal charts and number 15 on the indie charts. So once again, thank you everybody for continuing to listen to Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast, not only on Good Pods, but on all platforms. Like it on all podcast charts. And thank y'all. And y'all already know, check out the official website of Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast, www.realmrgentlemanlikethepodcast.com. You can listen to every episode of Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast. You can check out every video from Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast, from the audio versions, from Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast TV, from the Mr. Gentleman Facts Code Today. Just click on the videos, you can check every video, or just subscribe to the YouTube. Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast. Check out every guest that's been on Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast, all 66 guests now added Stella to the list. And yeah, check her guest profile. She's been added now. Check every guest that I've been on. And of course, check out the MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast merch store at tpublic.com. Just search MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast, or they can buy your item through the website. We had shirts, hoodies, mugs, and many more. Support MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast merch store so we can step up our equipment and give y'all the best listening experiences. So check the merch store at tpublic.com. Search MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast, or just buy through the website. Check out the official website, www.realmrgentlemanlifestylepodcast.com. Once again, thank y'all for tuning into the latest episode of MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Now, for upcoming episode, this Thursday, we have another new episode of MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast Presents, a conversation about music podcast, part of Spin-off Series Thursday, every first Thursday. And next Sunday, we have another special guest. She is an entrepreneur. She have a podcast show called Chip Chatter Podcast, and we're going to talk to her about everything that she is doing. Once again, thank y'all for tuning into this latest episode of MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Have a good day or night whenever you're listening to this episode.
My name is Kendra Crump, and you are listening to the MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast.